In the dense heart of the Appalachian Mountains, a group of 4 college friends decided to hike the infamous Blackwood Trail. It was known for its eerie silence and the occasional disappearance of lone wanderers, but they laughed it off as urban legends. Sarah led with the map, Mike had the snacks, Emily carried the tent, and Tom, the skeptic, mocked the stories of forest whispers that supposedly lured people away. They started at dawn, the mist clinging to the ground like a shroud. By noon, the trail narrowed, the canopy blocking out the sun, turning the world into a perpetual twilight. That's when Emily first heard it, a faint murmur like wind through leaves, but with words hidden just out of reach. "Did you say something?" she asked, but the others just shook their heads. As evening fell, they set up camp near a babbling creek. Tom vanished first. He stepped away to gather firewood and never returned. They called his name, their voices echoing unnaturally, swallowed by the trees. Their flashlights pierced the darkness, revealing nothing but shadows that seemed to shift on their own. Panic set in. Mike suggested they backtrack, but Sarah insisted on pressing forward, claiming the trail looped back to the road. That night, huddled in the tent, the whispers grew louder, circling them like predators. Emily swore she heard Tom's voice among them, begging for help, then laughing maniacally. By morning, Mike was gone too. His sleeping bag was empty, dragged into the underbrush with claw-like marks in the dirt. Terrified, Sarah and Emily fled deeper into the woods, the whispers now clear. "Join us. Stay forever." Emily tripped over roots that weren't there moments before, and when she looked up, Sarah had vanished. Her scream cut short. Alone, Emily stumbled upon an old clearing filled with weathered stones, makeshift graves, etched with the names of the missing dating back centuries. The whispers swelled into a chorus, pulling her toward the earth. Rescuers found her backpack days later, but Emily? She became just another echo in the forest, whispering to the next fools who dared the trail. Deep in the Pacific Northwest, where the Olympic National Forest stretched like an endless green labyrinth, a family of 5 embarked on what was supposed to be a rejuvenating camping trip. The year was 2023, and the Hargroves' parents, David and Lavra, their teenage twins, Alex and Mia, and little brother Jamie had heard the warnings. Locals spoke of the Grove, a secluded cluster of ancient redwoods where hikers vanished without a trace. Over the decades, search parties had combed the area, finding only abandoned gear and cryptic carvings on trees, symbols that resembled eyes watching from the bark. But the Hargroves dismissed it as folklore, eager to escape the city's grind. They arrived at the trailhead under a sky heavy with rain clouds. David, a former Marine, led the way with a GPS device, while Laura carried the food supplies. The kids trailed behind, Alex glued to his phone until the signal faded, Mia sketching the towering ferns, and Jamie clutching his stuffed bear, wide-eyed at the wilderness. The first day was idyllic. They hiked through moss-draped paths, the air thick with the scent of pine and damp earth. By dusk, they pitched tents near a crystal-clear stream, roasting marshmallows and sharing stories around the fire. But as night deepened, Jamie woke up whimpering. "The trees are talking," he said, pointing into the darkness. Lavra hushed him, blaming the wind, but David noticed something odd. The forest had gone utterly silent. No crickets, no owls, just an oppressive quiet that pressed against their eardrums. Morning brought unease. Their compass spun wildly, and the GPS screen glitched with static. "Must be magnetic interference," David muttered, but his voice lacked conviction. They pressed on, aiming for a viewpoint overlook. Mia strayed off the path to draw a peculiar flower, its petals unnaturally vibrant. When she didn't return after 10 minutes, Alex called out. No answer. They fanned out, shouting her name, but the woods seemed to absorb the sound. Hours blurred into a frantic search. Lavra found Mia's sketchbook discarded on the ground. The last page half finished, a drawing of a humanoid figure woven from branches, its eyes hollow voids. Panic clawed at them. Jamie clung to Laura, whispering about the watchers in the wood. David radioed for help, but the device crackled with interference, faint voices mimicking their own pleas, distorted and mocking. As the sun dipped low, they stumbled into the grove. The redwoods here were colossal, their trunks scarred with those eye-like symbols that pulse faintly in the fading light, as if breathing. Alex vanished next. One moment he was beside David, examining a carving. The next he was gone, leaving only footprints that ended abruptly in soft soil. David dug desperately, uncovering roots that twisted like veins, warm to the touch. Night fell like a curtain. Laura and David huddled with Jamie in the center of the grove, flashlights casting long shadows that danced unnaturally. The silence broke with rustling branches creaking, leaves whispering names. Mia, Alex. Join us. Jamie screamed as tendrils of vines snaked from the ground, wrapping around his ankles. David hacked at them with his knife, but they regenerated, pulling the boy downward. In a haze of terror, Laura realized the truth. The grove wasn't just trees. It was alive, an ancient entity that fed on the lost, assimilating them into its network of roots and bark. The missing weren't dead. They were trapped, their essences fueling the forest's eternal hunger. She saw glimpses, faces etched in the wood, eyes blinking slowly, mouths frozen in silent screams. David fought valiantly, but the vines overwhelmed him, dragging him into the earth with a sickening crunch. Lavra grabbed Jamie and ran, but the path looped impossibly back to the grove. Exhausted, she collapsed against a trunk, feeling its bark soften like flesh under her touch. Jamie's cries faded as the ground swallowed him whole. Alone, Lara felt the entities pull a seductive whisper promising reunion with her family. She resisted at first, clawing at the dirt, but the visions came, her children laughing, whole again within the grove's embrace. Rescuers arrived days later, drawn by the abandoned car at the trailhead. They found the campsite intact, but no Hargroves. Only new carvings on the trees, 5 fresh eyes, watching eternally. Search teams scoured the area for weeks, but like so many before, the family joined the ranks of the vanished. Whispers persist among rangers. On quiet nights, if you listen closely in the grove, you can hear the missing calling out, luring the next victims deeper into the woods. The forest doesn't forget, it collects. And once you're in its grasp, escape is just another illusion.